We'll start here by looking at the graph of f of x equals 1 over x. And since that's already in lowest terms, we can find our vertical asymptote by setting the denominator equal to 0. So that's going to give us x equals 0. The horizontal asymptote we can find by looking at the degrees of the top and bottom. The degree of the top is 0 since it does not have a variable component. And the degree of the bottom is 1. So the degree of the top is less than the degree of the bottom. That means the horizontal asymptote is the line y equals 0. X equals 0, that's the y-axis, and so that's our vertical asymptote. And y equals 0, that's the x-axis. So we'll go ahead and set up a table to plug some numbers in to get some points that we can plot. So we'll go ahead and use -2, -1, and we know that we can't plug in a 0 for x, that's our vertical asymptote. So we'll go ahead and jump to 1 and 2. So if I plug in -2 in for x, I'd get -1/2. Plug it in -1, we'd get -1. 1 would give us 1, and 2 would give us 1/2. So let's go ahead and plot these points. Got -2, -1/2, -1, -1, 1, 1, 2, 1/2. And we know that these graphs are going to approach but not touch those asymptotes, and so we can sketch in the rest of our graphs there based on the locations of our asymptotes. Okay, so that gives us the graph of f of x equals 1 over x, which is our basic reciprocal function. So the graph of g is a transformation of that. So we have here that x plus 2, so we're adding that 2 directly to the x. That's going to be a horizontal shift, and that's going to go to the left 2. And then the -1 there is going to be a vertical shift down 1. And so we're just going to take each of those points we plotted and move them left 2 and down 1. So those ones with the integer coordinates will be a little bit easier, but we'll deal with here the fraction coordinates. So if I go left 2 and down 1, here, left 2 and down 1, and specifically the asymptotes also move. And so let me go ahead and finish with the points. Go left 2 and down 1, left 2 and down 1. So my vertical asymptote is at the y-axis. If I go left 2, it's going to move over 2 units. Now moving a vertical line down, we're not going to see any change there, but left 2 certainly affected that. So our vertical asymptote is now going to be at x equals -2. And our horizontal asymptote, if I move it left 2, it doesn't change, but going down 1 puts it down at y equals -1. So we want to make sure and graph our new asymptotes on there, and those also guide the rest of our graph. So we're going to get close to and not cross those asymptotes. And both of those branches. So that's the graph of our function g of x. And g of x is a transformation of our basic reciprocal function, which was f of x equals 1 over x.